Heads up, this is part 2 of finding your passion, following your passion and all that rubbish because, well, we're redefining it. And I've got a wonderful process in here and lots of stuff. And I've got carried away, and I hope that you just enjoy the way I've been carried on this little adventure of a podcast. There's going to be more to come on this subject, I'm sure. But until then, dive into this one because I think you'll find something really powerful and it will affect your life. For the good, that is. See you in a minute.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, welcome back to the Unplugged podcast, the slightly longer one. Slightly longer. And by the way, so pleased you're back. It's Paul here, and I am really pleased. And this is your part 2 of that follow your passion nonsense, but isn't nonsense. Let's refresh where part 1 was. And if you haven't listened to it, I really suggest you do, but a little refresh for those who have listened. You know, remember we said this is not about being made to feel inadequate. Like some of the people who are really trying to shout out that you ought to be following your passion. If you weren't, or if you're not, then, you know, you should be finding it and dropping your job and doing things like that. And also, by the way, I also sell a quick fix to find it. And also I have the secret and the 5 special ways. Well, that's not me speaking. That's them, by the way. No, that's exactly what we're not doing. We're finding something different. And I'm going to name it something different in a minute. But if you remember, I asked if you could list the things you liked and the things you disliked. Because if you remember, the definition of passion is a powerful and compelling emotion and could be either love or hate. And I wanted to leave the love bits out for the moment because I asked you to list all those things out, but list the things that you didn't like, the things you disliked doing, and to decide, I'm not going to do them anymore. Because, okay, there are some things that maybe putting out the trash and things like that, I don't like doing them, but they're pretty neutral. That's not a real dislike. It's just it's an inconvenience more than anything. But if there's something that really gives you a negative feeling of doing, you have to change. And you have to change because it will do you no good. The more you stay in a negative feeling, your body is listening to your emotions and your brain is listening to your body and it does you no good whatsoever. We're looking to charge ourselves up with positive emotions, positive thoughts, positive self-talk. So you need to decide to stop those things that you really, 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 with a W, really dislike. Because what we're going to try to do is create a void. We're not going to try. We don't try here, Cluffy. No, we're going to create a void. And the void, I love to call it the void of pure potentiality because it can connect to anything and everything that you want. And it is, and can be just pure potentiality. Now, the thing is to stop things is, it's easy for you to say, Cluffy, and it is easy to say, just stop it. But the thing what you have to do is know that it might not happen overnight. And it doesn't have to happen overnight. It can be gradual, baby steps, remember. But I think once you start to make that decision and you start stopping those things, you build a momentum of just clearing them out of your life. You're clearing negativity. That's what you're doing. So just as we want to keep away from people who are really negative and give negative vibes, we want to be away from them. We also want to be away from the negative things in our lives, the things that we have to do. And we have to have a plan. So once you decide how you can do it. Remember, what will this look like? What will this be like if it was easy? Well, if it was easy, I'd do this, this, and this. That's your plan. Put it on a time period. Be realistic. Don't make it worse than it is. Don't make it better than it is. But just hit it in that middle sweet spot and say, well, this is what I'm going to do. And commit. Commit to not do things, if that makes sense. So you may have to lever things away. You might have to, it's like leverage is like delegating, getting somebody else to do it, finding ways that you can offload it, as it were. Because there is always ways you can do that. Because at the end of the day, I'm concerned about you, no one else. So, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of the negative in our life, bit by bit by bit, and the more we do that, we create that void, the void of pure potentiality, Cluffy. Absolutely. Well done, you. Well done. And when we've started that, releasing the hates, because remember, life's too short, too short to hang on to anything that we don't like. We're going to redefine passion. Now, let's go back to that definition again. The definition was, passion is a powerful and compelling emotion and can be either love or hate, for example. Well, the thing is, I want you to now think of passion as your calling and also your gift. What are you talking about, Cluffy? Well, that's it, you see, because I know that you have a gift, if not more than one gift. And that gift is something that you use unconsciously, and you don't even notice it consciously half the time. I was thinking about mine again. As you know, I said I gave you those examples in the previous part one of this, of how I was starting to notice that the theme of the things I enjoyed doing was all about helping people, giving selfless service in getting people to just make the best of themselves, letting go of negativity, changing the way they act, they behave, they believe, and try to just find that richness of life. Live in that void of pure potentiality. And what I remembered was I went back in my mind before the days of hypnosis and what I used to do. Well, I used to be in a completely different life, as it were, a different industry. And I remember I used to have assistants, and they were, I think they were, apart from one, young lads coming into the industry, and they were my assistants, and I had to train them. Well, a lot of people just use those people for doing the dog's body jobs, doing, getting coffee, filing, and things like that. But I remember I used to take real interest in what they were doing. How far could I stretch them? What is the most amount of responsibility I could give them? And I enjoyed it. And I remember, even when I wasn't the most senior person in the company, I also always made sure that the people who were working with me, especially the people who were learning, were given the best advice I could offer. I gave them experiences that they probably wouldn't get elsewhere. And I think it was maybe because I was given that same type of experience, same type of latitude, same type of opportunities. And so I passed that on, and I was helping them. And I really believe that they felt that they were part of it. And it got to the point where at one time, when I used to leave the company for a holiday or bits and pieces, my deputy, as it were, was my protege, a guy who'd come from school, and he was only in his very early 20s, but he was looking after this part of a company for me while I was away. Now that's, to me, was huge, but I had so much confidence in him because we had worked together so well. And that was just me helping him, I guess. Helping him, training him, just to do his stuff. And I know that when he moves on, he's going to be absolutely great. And he was. He did move on, because a little while ago now, and it was great. So you could say there was a gift, if you call it a gift, an inner gift that I had that was part of my calling to this service of helping people to develop themselves, to just increase their potential. And to realize, I guess now, that their potential is unlimited. There is an abundance of anything that you want. So that's where I want us to start going now. Start looking to see this redefinition of passion, finding the gifts that you have that support your calling. And I'm going to guess the more we look into it, the more you're going to find, I'm actually doing it now, right away. And I've been doing it for some time. I just didn't realize it. And I think that's part of it. Because we do these things naturally, we just take them for granted. I was talking to somebody this morning, a client, got their result in, about 1.5 sessions really. We got most of the result in the first session. And she was saying, it's as if nothing has changed in as much as I can't remember the old times now. I know that they happened, but I don't go back there now. I'm just doing the things that I want to do, and I'm feeling good about it. And that's natural, isn't it? When you feel comfortable without thinking about making yourself comfortable, you just are comfortable. You're safe. You're in the right place. And she said, that's what I'm doing. It's just normal now. And I think it's like, what's your normal bit regarding your gifts that are supporting or being part of your calling? So how do we do that? How do we look for your gift that will then point us in that direction of your calling? And even if you need to know what your calling is, because then we can say, well, actually it's my passion. And if you want to change it to a career, then you can decide to if you're not, or decide to if you want to or not. That's a better way of putting it, Cluffy. Because when you do that, it's your choice. There's no other silly bugger saying, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and follow my ways. Anyway, off your soapbox. Thank you. Let's get back to these things. So how are we going to find these gifts? Well, rewind for 30 seconds. We've made a decision to stop doing the things that we don't like, dislike, we hate. So we're going to take dynamic, intuitive action and get it done. And as we're doing that, what I want you to do is let's start to look at the things that you love to do and make a list. I want you to find, get that list of the things you want to do. Maybe expand it now, because now we've started to, because you've made a decision, I think your unconscious mind will start to generate more thoughts, more ideas, more intuitive things will come into your mind and say, well, actually, I remember this is the type of thing, because now we can go through all our memories, all the things that we used to do you really love. And I want you to get that list. And what we're going to do is, because we're going to find specifically how they make you feel. Because if you remember, still staying with that definition of a powerful and compelling emotion, but in the positive now, because how does it make you feel? If it's good stuff, it's obviously going to make you feel good. So I want you to make that list and just notice how specifically does each of those actions make you feel. Write it down. If you want to, relive it just for the moment to make sure you know exactly how you feel. Because then you might go, oh, actually that's quite enjoyable, I like, but that one really is. And you can circle it, star it, whatever you want. But at least then we know all the ones that give you that wonderful, powerful, compelling, positive emotion. And you'll have a list of them. And as you look at that list of feelings, just take some time to pause and ask, as you look at that page, is there a theme here? Is there something that's like knitting these all together, or, joining them? Is there some way that I can see that there's a similarity between the intention maybe of all of those things, or the outcome of each of those things, or well, you know what I mean. Just take some time to pause, I think, and take it in. Because I think this is really important. Because the more we live our life in powerful and compelling positive emotions, you're going to be the most passionate person in the world, along with everyone else who's doing this. But you're going to get so... What's it like, just as a sidebar, what's it like to be some next door, sitting with, in the same room, as someone who's totally passionate about what you're doing? It's awesome, isn't it? And it's also infectious. It makes you feel good. It gives you energy, and you start to get those ideas yourself. Well, I could do this, I could do that. It's that abundance of potentiality again, that pure potentiality. So that's how we start to fill that void. But here's the thing, what I want you to do. Having done that, clean it up a little bit if you need to. Because I know I look at a lot of my notes, and the notes for actually this particular podcast, I've had to go over again because I got lost. I went in the wrong direction. I come back, and then I've had to put a few headings back again to get some understanding. And you believe, I do make notes. But here's the thing. Once you've got that list of each thing that just gives you that buzz, that really good, powerful, positive, compelling emotion, I want you to value them. What do you mean, Paul? Well, what I mean is this. I want you put them into a hierarchy. A hierarchy. So how do you do that? Well, we do it like we did the other values exercises, if you did that at all. But if you didn't, don't worry, still here. I just want you to look at that whole page and say, if I could only have one of these things in my life, one of those feelings, those things to do that would give me that feeling, which one would I choose right now? And notice what jumps out just like that. Because you can think about it too long and you want your unconscious mind to join in. If you get the conscious mind, oh, it could be that, no, look at that. No, as I look at that list, what's the one thing that jumps out at me that once is so compelling? I want that one first. Boom. Number one. If you want to, write it on a sticky piece of paper. Then if I could only have one more of that list, which one would I have? If I could only have one more. That's number two. Then, guess what? Repetition is the mother of skill. But no, repetition is, if I could only have one more out of what's left, which one would I have? If you've got 10, then they're going to be in a hierarchy of 10. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the top 4, because they're going to be the biggest and the strongest, aren't they? We can look at the others as well if you wish, and you can follow the same type of thing. But what I want you to do is now get really, we've got to have that wheelie with a W, really specific for each one. In a moment, and I'll guide you through it, and I think I'm going to do a hypno track for this as well. I want you to relive that event, that feeling, but I also want you to do it in a way that we can really enhance it. We can just make it bigger and stronger and more intense. Because if you've got a powerful, compelling, positive emotion and you make it more intense, boom. So what we're going to do is get the first 4, and if I was you, I would actually put them on 4 little sticky notes in front of you. The event, or the type of thing you're doing, and the lovely emotion it gives you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's what I would do. And I'm going to ask you to do it. And it's, if nothing else, even if you don't do the rest of the exercise, or you don't do the hypnosis, I'm sure you will. You will, won't you? You're going to get just something out of this anyway, because it's going to feel good. So doing anything that makes you feel good has got to be good. So what you do is you look at the first one, just the first one, and you recall the most specific memory of when you did that, the one that gives you the real buzz. It'll come to mind just like that right now. And as you think about it, go back there now. Go back into that memory. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel those feelings. And as you feel those feelings, spin them in a direction that makes them more intense. So the faster you spin it, the more intense that feeling gets. And notice the colour. And as that colour comes to your mind, make it brighter. Make it sparkle. So colour is sparkling, and that feeling gets more and more intense. And let it go through every cell, every fibre of your body. And feel that feeling. Just feel it. And as you do that, just notice everything about that. And then come out of it. Open your eyes, clear the screen, say your name backwards. Can you spell your name backwards? L-U-A-P. I did, really quickly. I'll teach you that one day, if you want to know. H-G-U-O-L-C. Did it again. Whoa. I don't know why I did that one, but anyway. Now what we're going to do, go to number 2. That's called a break state, by the way. Getting one out of the way, clear the screen, getting into a new, fresh place to be, and look at that second compelling, powerful, wonderful, positive emotion and the behavior, or what you do, and go back to a memory. Recall a specific memory when you had that and you were doing that. And do exactly the same thing. Go back there. Go back into that memory. And as you go back into that memory, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel that feeling. And as you feel that feeling, again, spin it in the direction that makes it more and more intense the faster you spin it. Notice what colour that is. Might be the same as the last one, or it might be just subtly different. And as you spin it faster and faster, have it sparkle, spark, and have that feeling get more and more intense. And allow that to bathe every cell, every fibre of you. And then come out of that one. Open your eyes, clear the screen, say your telephone number backwards, or anything you like. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? Doesn't matter, because now we go to the third one. And you repeat. So as you see what you've written, go back to a specific memory, go back there, see what you saw, hear what you heard. Feel those feelings. And as you feel the feelings, spin them in the way that makes it more intense. Have the colour get richer and sparkle. So it gets so intense it fills every cell of your body, every fibre, every muscle. Boom! You might even start to get a word that goes like that. Boom! And when you've done that and you feel it's so powerful. And then do the last one. So you see the last one, we'll do it with you. And go back to a specific time when you were doing that particular thing that made you feel that way. Go back into that memory, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel the feelings. As you feel the feelings, spin them in the most wonderful way that makes them more intense. Faster and faster. And allow them to sparkle with that colour. Maybe they're fizzing bzz, 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 like electrics, charging so much, and have it fill every cell, every fibre of your body, so you feel that emotion so compelling, so powerful, so intense. And then finish. Now, what are we going to do? Well, now we just know every time we look, and here's the thing, just test. Look at the first one. Oh, you start to get that feeling. Look at the second one. Oh, get that feeling. Look at the third one. You can recall that feeling. And as you see the fourth one, boom, get that feeling. We're going to do something that I first heard about from the co-creator of NLP on one of his trainings. His name is Richard Bandler. He is a genius. And what he did was he got someone to think of these, just as we've done, 4 different scenarios, different events, made different feelings of a kind. Yours here are very similar, I'm going to guess, but they're slightly different. But to enhance this feeling, what I want you to do is close your eyes and go back and see in front of you that memory of the first one right now. And as you see it, start to get that feeling and allow that picture of that thing just to fall on top of you, and poof, you're back there now. And as you're back there now, see in front of you the second one. There you are over there, and let that fall on top of you, poof, and you're back into that scene now. And as you're in that scene and feeling those feelings along with the first set of feelings, you see over there that third memory, and as you look at it, it falls on top of you and you're back in it again, and you're mixing that feeling with the first 2 feelings. And as you're feeling all those feelings getting stronger and stronger, you see the fourth one, and as you see it, it falls on top of you. And as you do that, you see the first one again, and that comes on top of you, and that makes that feeling even more intense. Then the second one comes again, and then the third, and then the fourth, until it begins to spin its own wonderful magic, faster and faster and faster, more than your conscious mind can stand. And as you're doing that, boom, boom, sparkling, crackling, allow it to go up and down your spine, boom. And then just say this to yourself as you look towards the future, whatever direction of your future is. This or something better is coming my way. And as you do that, begin to notice what type of thoughts you have about your gift, your calling, the things that you do. And maybe you're doing it to such an extent now that you can just ramp it up a bit, because you can always have 1% more. And we always say, whatever you think you are, you're more than that. So you could have more. But you might also think, well, I'm now getting an idea. Intuitively, I'm beginning to think of different ways I can maintain this feeling. And they're going to be linked to that. I'm going to guess it's going to be some type of act of service. Someone's going to be getting something out of this, and you're going to be sharing your gift because it's calling out to you. It's going to be powerful, compelling, and so positive that your calling now is pulling in and attracting everything that matches these feelings. And your conscious thoughts about seeing that thread, seeing what ties these together, that theme, you're going to start to look for opportunities for you to take massive intuitive action. This could be the most awesome thing that you do. And I'm going to be adding to this. This is part 2. I don't know whether we're going to get a part 3, 4, or some 5-minute quickies are going to keep adding to this so you can keep ramping this up. Because I want to support you in your dreams. But this time, these are not just dreams. These are your callings dreams. This is where your gift becomes something even bigger. I'm going to encourage you. I want you to take courage in my encouragement of you to take those steps safely, easily, effortlessly, because this will actually justify all the things that you maybe didn't do in the past. And now you can, because they were your foundation, as it were, the foundations of allowing you to get to this point right now. And then it won't matter what anybody else thinks. Because it really won't. They can throw rocks at you and say, oh, what are you doing that for? Because you know, though, you're on your path. You're on the path because you're being called to that path. And as you're on that path, that adventure, you're sharing your gifts. And the way you share that gift will be different, just as mine has been. And I'm sure it's going to change again. And I'm looking forward to that. And if it doesn't change, man, I'll just stay here doing what I'm doing because I'm enjoying it. And it's just going to confirm to you, you're here in the right place at the right time. And then I wonder what you could do to make your heart zing with joy, love, gratefulness that will support you in this wonderful agenda adventurable. Because it's not a journey. It will be an adventure because it'll have twists and turns, ups, and even bigger ups. You'll meet so many different people. You'll do so many different things. And each one will make you feel good. And you can do that process as many times as you like because it just feels good anyway. As I say, I will do a hypnosis NLP type process for the hypnosis site. So if you want to do it as a separate exercise, then you can. But if not, just rewind to whatever minute that was. I'll see if I can find out what it is and put it on the show notes, if you can call this a show. So there you go. My little meta type heading for all of this. And I did it right at the very beginning without any notes at all, but it says, don't look so hard. This is hiding in plain sight. And I guess it's so strange that when you do all of this and the things I've talked about was nothing at all like I had in mind when I finished the last one. In fact, I changed my notes several times because it just didn't feel right. And this feels right. And it wasn't only until about 2 hours ago that look for your gift came to my mind. Yeah. So my unconscious mind is working wonderfully well for me to just saying, whoa, not yet. Here's that inspiration, Paul. So I'm going to leave you with that. I've got to say, I've got lost in this. So please forgive me if some of it doesn't make sense because I just went for it. But I'd love to hear from you. If you felt that this had any substance, if during the exercise how you felt, what effects it had in you locating your gift, because it's there. You just got to, it's hiding in plain sight. Your calling, and maybe some of the thoughts or plans that you have, or your ideas. I'd love to hear them. It's that sharing of ideas and the integrated field of learning, the Akashic field, and all that stuff. I don't know which one's right, but it's just there. When we share, as you know, we both get to keep it, and we both get to expand upon it. And if you can share it with me and I can share it with other people, we get to share it with, there's at least 20 people listening to this. We've grown over the years. And that's what we'll do. So we'll continue doing that. And let's dive into this again and again. So I do hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for coming on this little adventure with me on my adventure of looking for my gift and unwrapping it in front of you and my calling. I'm going to leave you now. There'll be a little bit at the end to give you a bit more information about other things. So if you would listen to that, I really appreciate it. I will be talking about subscribing, and I really do hope that you subscribe to this podcast because it really does help with the platforms I'm on. And if you could put a little review on there. I know not many people do because it always takes too long, and it does take a minute or so, and I'll do it tomorrow, and if you could do it right now, that would be awesome. Let's hit the subscription buttons and the review buttons and get it every time. Anyway, until next time, enjoy every heartbeat. And I just wonder now when your unconscious mind is going to surprise your conscious mind to feel happy for no reason. Ta-da! Just before you go, if you've just got a second or two, please have a listen. Why don't you share this? Share this podcast with just one person today, and then one person tomorrow, and one person after that. What would happen if we all did that? And why not subscribe? It's so easy to do. Find the platform of your choice. If it's iTunes or it's Castbox or any others, there's loads of them. Search for either Paul Clough or Personal Development Unplugged, and then there's a big subscribe button. Press that subscribe button, and it'll be there. You get the podcast twice a week, on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Never have to look any further. And if you would, why not put one of those reviews up? Because that would be awesome, because that just moves it around this integrated field of learning, as it were, and becomes and gets in front of other people. Which is what we want, isn't it? To be the change we want to see in others and help others change to be the change they want to see in themselves. There you go. I'm going to speak to you real soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Have fun. Enjoy every heartbeat.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.